I don't believe what I just saw.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
I believe in miracles. Yes!
Is this the Tiger?
You guys are rolling.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Okay.
We are rolling.
You guys ready? Let's do it.
Woo!
Sibyllus. No, just kidding.
Are you ready? Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Hardcastle. Hardcastle.
And McCormick.
We'll just do 80.
Rip
Jake
Tide.
and the Fat Man.
Riptide.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
You should actually include this.
I
think you might.
3, 2. April 21st, on this day in sports. On today's episode, a hockey legend worthy of his own tragically hip song. A new MLB team plays its first home game. Did anyone care? The Dubs set a record for dubs. A record low level of defensive effort. The Phillies make another historically bad trade. The end of an era in Boston. And they can't lose in Milwaukee. The least likely perfect game in history. Baseball comes to the land of the lakes, and the dream that keeps saying no. Also, one of us is celebrating a birthday today. I won't tell you who. You'll have to listen for a little while before we let you in on who it is.
I tell you, that list was so long, Mike, I thought that was the whole show.
No,
I think it was.
I think we're past the birthday now.
We should do another one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that sounds very exciting. I love those headlines, Mike. Thank you very much. April 21st. April 21st. Yes, I'm going to tell you right now, it is my birthday, April 21st. And
Happy birthday
Thank
to
you very much.
Sandy, Job, and Bevins.
Thank you very much. Please don't use my whole name. Cabin, of course, is our sponsor. Cabin Barber and Gentleman Supply. Proud to welcome Cabin, of course, because they're a fantastic sponsor. Whether you have difficult hair, a challenging beard, just generally want to have a good day, an average day go better, Cabin is the place to be. You roll into Cabin. It's an incredible barbershop. It's also a gentleman's supply shop. You can come in here for a haircut, leave with a wallet.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's a wallet you purchased, not somebody that's cutting your hair's wallet.
Yeah.
No theft allowed at Cabin. And in fact, it's rough justice around here, friends.
That's right.
Don't steal anything, or you're going to find out why it's your last day on Earth. Friends, you can go on down here.
But please, come on in.
But it's so friendly. Look, if you keep your cool in here, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah. If you conduct yourself like a member of society, you'll be
Just
fine.
be a gentleman.
Yeah, that's right.
Just be a
it's
gentleman.
It's a gentleman's place.
Thank you very much. Cabin has 3 locations, including the Port Credit location, which is where we are now recording from. Get a shave, get a cut, get a ton of compliments when you roll out of here with a Cabin fresh look. For more, check out cabinforlife.ca.
Well done.
Well done. Happy
that,
birthday.
Cabin.
Maybe
very
for your
much.
birthday, you'll be taking home some Cabin swag.
I'll grab the sweatshirts. Thank you very much. The beautiful Cabin sweatshirts, which we've been pining for.
They're on layaway.
Thank you.
I feel like we should aim lower and just ask for socks.
That's not a bad idea.
Maybe we'll get some.
Not an idea. Frank, you got to hook up for those?
Maybe.
We got Frank on the mic today.
Yeah, that's
Frank
not no.
able to chime in finally.
Loving
Chiming
it.
in.
Tired of listening to our shit. He's gonna pipe up with his own stuff.
Now you said if you had difficult hair or difficult beard or problem beard. I think if you have normal or even just fine.
Yeah, you don't have
shouldn't say
to.
normal. Like just
Yeah,
you know.
you don't have to come in with a problem.
Yeah.
No.
You can.
It's not a must. Matt, you want to kick us off today? What happened April 21st?
April 21st. All right, let's go back to 1951, where Bill Barilko's overtime goal defeated Montreal 3-2 in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals and won the cup for the Maple Leafs. It capped off the only final in NHL history where every game went to overtime. It was the 9th cup win in Toronto history, which at the time was also the most in NHL history. And you all know the story from the Tragically Hip song. Barilko did not get to enjoy that hero status for long because the light plane that he was riding in went down on a fishing trip. It crashed in northern Ontario that summer, and they didn't find his body until 1962, which was the next time the Leafs won the cup. Wow. As the song says.
Wow.
Bashin' Bill Barilko. Bashin' Bill, they called him for his style of play.
Well, in 1961, April 21st, it was the first MLB game ever played in the state of Minnesota. The Twins lost 5-3 to the Washington Senators at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. Interestingly, the Sens were an expansion team that was established when the original Senators team was allowed to move after the 1960 season to Minnesota.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I mean, a year later, confusing. The fans might have been confused.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't he on our team?
Yeah, who are we playing? 1972, to follow up on that, in the first ever MLB game held in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Rangers defeated the Angels 7-6 in front of just over 20,000 fans. The Rangers had just moved to Texas after the Washington Senators were allowed to move again. And Texas's manager for that season, and just for that season, the late great Ted Williams. They went 54-100 that year, and Williams quit after one season. They had some old players on that team like Frank Howard, some young players, and the park that they used was Arlington Stadium, which had been a AA park up to that point. But whatever Arlington Stadium looked like, it couldn't have looked worse than that ballpark they play in right now, which looks like some kind of metal shop project from the out. It looks like a big box, like garden and lawn store or something. It like inside it looks okay.
Yeah.
The outside is really, really awful. Like it's all aluminum. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
And they spent a lot of taxpayer money on that.
Sure they did. Well, the thing is, here's two things that I find interesting in that story from 1972. Ted Williams is manager.
Yeah.
Yep.
One fact we know, if you go on Baseball Reference right now, friends, look for where Ted Williams is buried. And the answer is frozen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's frozen.
That's right.
In how many pieces?
2, right, Matt?
Right.
I believe that's
Been
true.
decapitated.
That's
I
right.
believe.
What?
His
Well, there was
head
a whole
is-
thing, with his son. He wanted to be cryogenically frozen.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Thank
of
you.
this?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Well, he's frozen.
Probably because of that Rangers season. That's why he wanted that done.
Well, there was only look up things about Ted Williams. I mean, he couldn't understand how these guys couldn't hit. MVP Jeff Burrows went basically crazy from Ted Williams managing him. Could not stand each other. Hated each other. And the best thing to do if you have turmoil on your team is to bring in Billy Martin as your manager.
Yeah.
But that's funny because those Twins were the first stop eventually for Billy Martin. In the late 69, I believe he was manager of the Twins. We'll get back to Billy Martin. And then he went on to coach their Rangers, manage this Rangers team. Lots of different things that tie in together. But I'm just, it's like when Gretzky was, when he's coaching the Coyotes. And he was just saying, why can't you get it?
Yeah.
And that was Ted Williams when he was managing. Why don't you get it?
Yeah, it'd be hard
Because
to be
we're the
coached by,
Coyotes.
like,
That's why.
one of the greats.
That's
eh?
the problem.
Like, how do you?
That's the problem. They can't teach the things they know, and so they're terrible at teaching kids anything.
Yeah. Of course.
Would you be frozen, Sandy?
I feel like yes.
Okay. All right.
Good, because for your birthday, that's what
Yeah.
Thank you
We
so
got you.
much.
we're getting you cryogenically frozen.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
Tonight
much.
after we finish.
Thank you so much.
It's actually in Arizona at the Alcor Cryonics facility.
There you
Thank
go.
Oh wow.
Just in
Is
case
that
you're wondering.
Just his head is there, or both
That's
pieces?
what they say.
Probably
It's his
both
head.
pieces.
It got weird fast because he wanted his ashes to be scattered on the Florida Keys.
Yeah,
and
he
then-
loved down in Key West.
Yeah.
Fishing was a big thing.
I want to
Yeah.
say how much I love that the first thing Frank is officially
Yeah.
on this show for is talking about Ted Williams' frozen head.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
I saw Frank.
It's all
reach his
downhill
phone
from there,
immediately.
Frank.
Yeah.
We should book a tour.
I don't know if it's actually like an amusement park, Frank.
Yeah, well,
It's not really an attraction.
I'm
It's
sure if we talk to the family.
more like a icy crypt.
Let's jump to 1967.
No segue.
After 737 consecutive home games, the first Dodgers game was rained out since the team moved to Los Angeles. That's pretty incredible. Now, this must be both at LA Memorial Coliseum and at Dodger Stadium.
Probably, yeah.
For
it's
737. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Because there was no Dodger Stadium when they first got there, right? It's
Yeah.
been a couple of years.
Coliseum, the moonshot.
They had to throw a bunch of people out of their homes and then build.
What
That's another story.
What a great story that was.
Yeah.
yeah. But this, hey, what about this? Just that's an incredible time to not have a rain out.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a string. I mean, and the thing is in LA, when it rains, people go absolutely insane. So it's they're not expecting it. They lose their minds. So that must have meant, it's hard enough driving to a Dodgers game. And now you got to deal with rain. They probably just said, you know
gotta
what? It's just a little bit of rain. We're not coming.
Yeah.
Well, all told, there's something like 17 rainouts in the Dodger Stadium history.
Wow.
Like,
That's how dry it is there.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Well, I'll tell you what.
Speaking of dry.
Thank you very much. It's just kind of my style. Hey, let's go. A lot of great baseball facts here.
Well, it is April.
April 21st, 1966, the Cubs acquired 23-year-old pitcher Fergie Jenkins from the Phillies in exchange for pitchers Bob Buell and Larry Jackson. Jenkins went on to win 167 games over 10 seasons in Chicago, including a Cy Young in 1971, while Buell was 37 at the time of the trade. It was 6-8 with a 4.93 ERA for Philly before retiring. Good call. Jackson, who was 35 at the time, was 41-45 for the Phillies with a 2.93 ERA before retiring after the 68 season.
Yeah.
Another bad trade for the Phillies.
Another bad trade for the Phillies and with the Cubs, because Ryan Sandberg was Phillies to Cubs too.
Lou Brock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Phillies have. There's a lot of Hall of Famers that started there.
Yeah. I guess that wasn't true. The Cubs gave away Lou Brock. They screwed that up.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't the Phillies.
The Cubs are in the story. Say, hey, listen, you know what? This was revenge.
Yeah,
The Cubs got some of them back, and because they finally made up for Lou Brock.
that's right. Okay, I'm going to go, because we've been talking baseball, I'm going to do a basketball one. In 1996, Utah's John Stockton won his 9th consecutive NBA assist title after the last game of the season, which was today, breaking the record for the most consecutive times leading the league in assists, which was previously shared by him and Bob Cousy. On the same day, Chicago's Michael Jordan won his 8th consecutive scoring title, breaking the record of 7 straight scoring titles, which he shared with Wilt Chamberlain to that point. Jordan averaged 30.4 points per game that season. And that will tie into our draft, that little tidbit.
That's right.
Later on. So just keep that fresh in your mind, listeners.
Absolutely will. I wanted to say, I forgot to mention this too, the Fergie Jenkins came to mind. If you haven't had a chance to check out Chuck D's new album, We Wreck Stadiums.
Yes.
There is a Fergie Jenkins track on that album. Almost the entire album is, in fact, the entire album is baseball themed. He's got Cobra, a song with Dave Parker. He's got the Fergie Jenkins song. That album, especially if you're a baseball fan and a hip hop fan, that is your dream right there coming together. Check it out.
Chuck D.
We Wreck Stadiums.
Friend of the show.
Chuck D, friend of the state, of course, a very good friend of the show.
Yeah.
He bought us these mics.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't had him on yet because we want to wait for a good episode for him. But
absolutely.
He can't wait.
I'll go to football is what I'm going to do. Mike, you went to basketball. I'll go 1991. So the Dallas Cowboys select University of Miami, Florida, defensive tackle Russell Maryland with the first overall pick of the NFL draft. That year's draft set a record, with each of the first 6 picks being defensive players. What's notable is that Notre Dame wide receiver Raghib the Rocket Ishmael, who would have likely been the first overall pick, but he announced that he was signing with CFL's Toronto Argonauts earlier that day for a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
The Raiders still selected him in the 4th round, and after 2 years playing in Canada, he ended up in LA and, then played in the NFL for a while there. This 1991 draft is generally viewed as one of the weakest in modern history, with only 2 players ending up in the Hall of Fame, Aeneas Williams and Brett Favre. So,
yeah, okay.
what?
Yeah, well, I guess only 2 guys go in the Hall of Fame. I guess that's true. I'm just trying to think. That'd be interesting.
There's a few where none have.
I was going to say there's
That's
some
true.
zeros. But
That's true.
Yeah. That's not a great one, no. Especially because neither Favre nor Williams were first-round picks either.
Speaking of...
3rd round and second. Favre is a 2nd rounder.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hall of Famers.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Different sport, of course, basketball. April 21st, 1996, in the Rockets' final game of the season, Hakeem Olajuwon blocked 3 shots to become the NBA's career leader in block shots, passing previous record holder Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 3,190. The Dream remains the all-time leader with 3,830. That's more than 500 more than Dikembe Mutombo, who was in 2nd place.
Wow.
Now, friends, if you ever get the chance, I know you know the YouTube you've heard of. Hop on there, check out some of those Hakeem Olajuwon commercials. They do not disappoint. From the LA Gear,
Oh, yeah, right.
he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
I'm unstoppable. To
I don't remember that.
there's another shoe commercial on there, and I'm gonna just pull up the brand. I took a photo because I wanted to remember this. I think this is before he even got the LA Gear contract. He was. This one is a gem. I will guarantee you will not be disappointed if you jump on there. And Hakeem, by the way, has a bunch of different really good ones. The shoes are called Etonics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Etonic. The Etonic Hakeem Olajuwon.
Even his brand recognition couldn't help Etonics take
it's
off.
so good. Because I even think within the commercial, his context is, although I like a good shoe, I also like to save a little money. Which I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, check them out. YouTube is full of
the Yugos of sneakers.
They should have had somebody like about to pay a lot of money, and he blocks it. He goes, "Don't pay that much. Don't pay that much money."
I think if you look hard enough on YouTube, there'll be a premise of one of his commercials with that because I feel like
he's got to be blocking something.
Because there's the one for LA Gear. He's basically playing Mark Jackson 1-on-1, which is a weird matchup, and his eyes go to like demon eyes because he's got the power of the LA Gear. That's a commercial. Terrifying.
I think like athlete commercial. Well, we did athlete, but commercials.
Athlete commercials should be an episode.
For sure.
I think I'm
noted.
Please noted. Frank,
fans, don't worry, we've got it.
Frank, we're gonna do one about commercials with athletes.
Okay.
I mean, you got your jeans from the other episode. You got a lot there.
Oh, there's a lot there.
1987, the Milwaukee Brewers lost 7-1 to the White Sox. Their first loss after starting the season by tying an MLB record streak of 13 straight wins. Milwaukee finished the season 91-71, good for third in a tough American League East, and missed the playoffs. Despite the 13-game winning streak to start the year, and at one point they were 17-1, they were never more than 3.5 games ahead in the AL East. And in May, they had a 12-game losing streak and were an even 500, 40-40 by July the 7th. Then they went 18-11 in August and 20-9 in September. But it still wasn't enough as they finished 7 games back of the 98-win Detroit Tigers that year, who swept the Blue Jays, as we all remember, in the final 3 games that season to edge them out for the division title in one of the worst weekends in Blue Jays history, where the Jays were up 1 going into the series, just had to win 1 to guarantee at least a tie, and lost those 3 games 4-3, 3-2, and 1-0.
Painful.
And that was, remember Tony Fernandez got hurt on the hard slide at second. It was just that was.
I that was painful. Obviously, 85 was painful as well. You have all these memories, but I don't individually have someone on the Detroit Tigers I don't like too much. Like I like those teams. I wasn't too.
Yeah.
But I really hate that 85 Royals team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hate them. I was watching an Angels-Oakland game, like beginning of the season, and Gubazaw's calling his color for the Angels, and I went, "Fuck you, Gubazaw!" Like, I didn't even think about it. He just started talking.
On the 85
it
team.
just came out of my mouth because he's an 85 Royal.
I hated Jack Morris pretty good until he came to Toronto.
That's fair. That's actually
I really didn't like it. I loved Whitaker and Trammell. Those guys were great players, great guys.
Yep.
Gibson, but I hated Jack Morris.
That's pretty fair. Actually, that's pretty fair. That was the one guy.
I take your point. Yeah.
Oh man, it's just a visceral feeling.
Yeah.
1995.
Thank you.
April 21st, 1995, the Celtics. The Boston Celtics played their final regular season game at Boston Garden, losing to the Knicks 122-111. After being beaten out of the playoffs in the first round that year by Orlando, losing both playoff games at home, they moved to the Fleet Center next season, and the Celtics have played home games there since 1946.
Oof.
Wait.
No, they had.
They had. Sorry, they had. I was just like, wait a minute. They had.
Let's take it from the top of the show.
Let's
Mike,
go
can you
again.
do the announcements?
Okay, sure. I'm going to add a few in, though.
Though I guess they're not the Fleet Center. Well, it was the Fleet Center, and then it's the TD.
Now it's the TD Garden, yeah.
Yeah, it was the TD Bank
sort of
North
began
Garden.
the tradition of naming stadiums and arenas after corporate entities.
Painful.
Yeah.
Sort of started in the 90s. I just wanted to recognize that, what a great moment in sports that is.
So, this is actually this is a callback. This is the Celtics' final game at Boston Garden. First episode, November 20th, we talked about the first Bruins game at the Gardens.
Okay, right.
Remember that? November 20th, 1928.
Yeah.
They also lost.
Well, staying with some basketball, April 21st, 1996, the Bulls defeated Washington 103-93 to finish the regular season with a then NBA record 72-10 win-loss record. That record stood until 2015-16 when the Golden State Warriors won 73 and lost 9. But I bring it up, and we love it here in Toronto because one of the 10 losses for the Bulls was to the Toronto Raptors. And their
which
second season.
Until 2019 was the greatest moment in Raptors history.
It was fantastic. But for those you don't know, the Raptors played their home games in the Sky Dome.
Yes.
And it was incredible to see a basketball arena in a giant garage.
It was cavernous,
where you could, if you got up crappy seats, which I generally had, you'd look down and see the game. But over behind it, you could see like 4 of the crew guys smoking a joint in the corner, a couple of people just walking around that worked there. Guys driving a forklift.
And the angle of the seating was not conducive to basketball.
Horrible.
Like you'd be like, it's so long, it's slow. Like it was
Worst place.
Those were rough times.
Probably the best day in that,
yeah.
era was
Oh,
them
yeah.
beating the Bulls. Though.
Oh, yeah. That was the highlight of the Sky Dome era for the Raptors. Keeping with basketball, 1991, after losing their final game of that season, 131-125 to the Rockets, the Denver Nuggets officially set a record for having the highest points per game allowed in a season in NBA history. They allowed their opponents to score an average of 130.8 points per game, breaking the previous record, which they had set 10 years earlier, by over 4 points a game. They finished with a 20-62 record under head coach Paul Westhead, who was not fired after that season. The most points they allowed in a game that season was 173 to Phoenix, and they never held a team to less than 104 points that season. And they were 10-2 in games where they held their opponents to 117 or less. That is... That is a lot of like cherry picking and not getting back on D.
Just horrible.
Oh my gosh. Like I know the air is thin in Denver, but the other team is playing in that air too. Like you should be able to, come on, get back, guys. Get back. Come on.
Get back.
Yeah. 91 Nuggets.
Matt, what you got?
I got 2012. That's what I'm going for. April 21st, 2012. You were probably celebrating your birthday somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
But what was happening as well was White Sox pitcher Philip Humber threw the 21st perfect game in MLB history, defeating Seattle 4-0. Humber, who was already on his fourth MLB team at the age of 29, finished that season with a 5-5 record and a 6.44 ERA. The next season, he was 0-8 with a 7.90 ERA and never pitched in the majors again after that. In his career, he won just 16 games over 8 seasons.
Wow.
So very improbable perfect game. And it's not like and that Seattle team, Ichiro was on that team.
Yeah.
You know, like wow.
So there have been more perfect games than Philip Humber won in his career.
Wow.
Right.
Like that's how ordinary a pitcher he was. I mean, give him credit. You made the major leagues and you threw a perfect game, but wow. Otherwise,
not great.
But do you think that's what's great about baseball? Is anyone can rise to the occasion on any day, or do you just see that as a weird anomaly?
Maybe both.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be one. It's probably a little bit of both. Maybe Ichiro was hungover that day. I don't know.
Come on. He lives a perfect life. He wouldn't be hungover.
He is.
Always in perfect shape.
He's the best.
Always in best form.
He kind of is.
I'm just going to throw into some quick hits, friends. 1984, Eddie Murray, now playing for the Indians, sets an MLB record by hitting home runs from both sides of the plate in the same game for the 11th time in his career. Quick hit.
Quick hits. Look at us rolling through the quick hits now. Okay. In 2000, Colorado defeated Phoenix 2-1 in Game 5 to win the Western Conference quarterfinals. It was the Coyotes' 10th straight playoff series loss, going back to 1987 when the franchise was in Winnipeg.
Yep.
They would lose 3 more series in a row before finally breaking that streak in 2012 when they defeated Chicago and Nashville before losing in the Western Conference Finals that year.
Quick hit.
Quick hit.
2008, Montreal teammates Andre and Sergei Kostitsyn each scored in the Canadiens' 5-0 win over Boston in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, making them the first pair of brothers each to have a goal in an NHL playoff Game 7.
Ding, ding. Quick hit.
Quick hits. 1990, the Reds defeated Atlanta 8-1 to win their 9th consecutive game to start the season. They, of course, went on to upset the A's and win the World Series that season, 1990.
Quick hit. 2018 A's pitcher Sean Manaea threw a no-hitter, beating Chris Sale and the Red Sox 3-0 in Oakland. Boston was 17-2 at the time and had the highest winning percentage of any team ever to be no-hit in MLB history.
The throw in Samoa. Quick hit.
Quick hit.
Well, okay.
Quick hit. Are we still doing quick hits?
Let's do one more.
They're not going that quick.
Okay, quick hit. 1994, Eddie Murray.
No,
playing.
he already said that one.
Come on, Matt.
Oh,
Go to
that-
birthdays, Matt. Quick,
slow.
go to birthdays.
Go to birthdays.
Matt, quick, go to birthdays.
Okay, quick birthdays.
No, just
1951. Boxer and perhaps actor Tony Danza was born in Brooklyn. He was 9-3 as a boxer. Tony, does that count, Tony Danza?
Sure it does.
You've seen him
Absolutely.
slide in the Who's the Boss credits
Oh, yeah,
at the beginning. He
That's
gets
how we
some-
tied it into sports,
Get some
yeah.
real air on that one.
That's right.
Quick hit.
Absolutely. Boom, boom.
Birthday quick hits. Yeah.
Quick hit. There's birthdays. Birthdays. All right.
Quick birthdays.
1980, former number 1 overall pick in the 1998 NHL draft and longtime Tampa Bay Lightning player Vincent Lecavalier is born in Ile-Bizarre, Quebec. And now, quickly, I want to tell you, I met Vinny Lecavalier last week, Tampa Bay.
Name drop.
I was going to go over, and I wanted to find, this is a name drop, but I did want to go over and say, it's my birthday, the same day, that was going to be in my inn. Okay, I was going to be in. And I said to a guy, I think I'm going to go over and talk to Vinny right now. And the guy said, what are you going to say? What's going to be your in? I'm going to say, well, I wish I spoke French. That would be walk up speaking French in Tampa Bay. That's your in. And this guy from the Lightning goes, what do you mean? He speaks French? I was like, oh, that's my in. So I walked right over and I go, one of the guys who was so Lightning just said this to me. He was shocked you spoke French, and he just couldn't stop laughing. And his wife is like so French. That was my in. Conversation went great, guys. He's great. Handsome man, friendly as heck.
Very handsome, yeah.
Vinny Lecavalier, class act all the way, and it's his birthday, same day as mine.
Also the same birthday as you in 1963, 1996 National League MVP Ken Caminiti. Not as great a story as Vinny Lecavalier. Poor guy, struggled with substance abuse. Later, to his credit, admitted that the 1996 MVP award he won, he was using steroids at the time. But he struggled a lot in his life, had a really hard time, and died of an overdose at age 41. But a terrific player who was very candid about his substance abuse and stuff, and really helped get things changed in MLB about how they go forward. So that's why I wanted to mention him.
Wow, Ken Caminiti. Matt, we went and saw the Padres in 1996 play the Cardinals in St. Louis, and the final score, 1-0 Padres on a Ken Caminiti home run.
Hey, do you remember when
remember
that game? Oh no, that was not Ken Caminiti. That was Gary Gaetti. Remember, Gary Gaetti's my uncle. Remember that guy?
Same game. Gary Gaetti playing for the Cardinals at the time. One guy would, you constantly yell, Gary's my uncle every time Gary Gaetti came to the plate.
This guy like a couple of rows behind us. I don't think he was.
Yeah. Gary's my uncle.
I mean, maybe he was. I never checked.
You guys want to know more about that game?
1980. This is a birthday. In 1980, 4-time Pro Bowl Dallas Cowboys QB Tony Romo was born in San Diego. Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Skechers pitch man.
Thank you.
Sandy, before we go to the draft, there is a death here that I think you have marked off that you wanted to discuss.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have a bit about Eddie Murray, who now played.
Okay.
No.
1996. Jimmy the Greek, legendary bookmaker, fired from NFL Today for making racially insensitive remarks, died of a heart attack. If you are not someone who knew who Jimmy the Greek was, go back, find some footage, because you will ask yourself, how the heck did this guy ever go on TV? I mean, now betting is everywhere. Everybody's betting. He was clearly just a gambler thrown on TV. Yeah. Gold chains, the gold rings, everything else.
You felt like he had a dart under the desk.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And a bottle.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
So overtly in your face. And of course he was going to screw up at some point.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. You will not even believe it. Friends who are young out there, go watch this stuff and figure out Jimmy the Greek and ask yourself, how did this ever happen?
That's right. Should we go to our draft
That's
now?
great. Mike, you alluded to what it is. What is this, man?
It's about Eddie Murray.
Oh, great. And we're all going to read the same fact? Okay, quick hit.
So,
Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray is who we're... Oh, okay, so because we discussed John Stockton and Michael Jordan winning their 9th and 8th assists and scoring titles in a row and setting a record there, we thought today's draft would be of records that we think are unbreakable.
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we have to have one record from each of the 4 sports. We'll go around that we've chosen to be, or is the least breakable in our minds. And then our guest will adjudicate which of us picked the most unbreakable records.
That's right. And I should just say, out of respect to Matt especially, the 4 major sports, because Matt loves curling.
Yes.
And he's probably thinking that's a sport too.
Yeah.
So let's mention that it's just the 4 majors we've chosen.
Yes, that's right.
There's so many unbreakable curling records.
I know.
We couldn't include them all, Matt.
And there's some bird watching records that I got into, but I didn't want to bring those up either.
Okay. I mean, there's some great like tennis and golf.
Yeah, like we should do another one where we do non-4.
We could have had a wild card 5.
There's some wakeboarding things we could do will not be broke.
Yeah, we could do wild card ones next time where we just do.
I think the best thing to do is to pick apart the draft we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So our fans at home
So people are like, oh, this sounds shitty.
I understand that we're doing baseball, hockey, football, basketball.
You're
Yes.
correct. And Mike, I believe you have
I'm going
pick.
first. Okay.
Okay, we'll find
So-
out.
I'm going last.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to start in the NFL.
Yes.
And my record that I think is unbreakable is Jerry Rice, 22,895 career receiving yards.
Yep.
The player in second place is Larry Fitzgerald. He is 5,400 yards behind him, and he's retired.
Yeah.
You would have to have 1,000 receiving yards a season for 22 seasons, and you'd still be short. No one has ever had 2,000 yards in a season, and you'd have to do that 11 times to break that record. I don't see how, as prolific as the passing game is now, much more so than even when Rice played, I don't think there's any way anybody beats that record.
No way. And the crazy thing is, he had 2,000-yard receiving seasons with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, he continued to play at
When
a
he
high
was
level.
40.
Yeah. So, that's a great pick for sure. It's worthy of number one.
Of number one. Okay, on to you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be bold and also go NFL. I'm not
Okay.
gonna cherry pick from the others.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you on an NFL and go. That's a great record. I'm gonna go with Tom Brady career playoff passing yards. He's got 13,400 career playoff passing yards. The next closest is Peyton Manning with 7,339.
Yeah.
So 13,400 playoff passing yards. That's more than a lot of QBs throw for their entire career.
You would be correct.
How many interceptions does he have in the play? Oh, sorry. We're not supposed to talk about that. Never mind. Because he also has the record for that, too.
Well,
you can pick that for your next.
Yeah, I will. Well, I did NFL already. Okay, Sadie.
well, listen, I can walk away from football now because I'm going to get a free.
you can safely
You
get
got
there,
a
yeah.
freebie.
And I look at the other three majors, and what do I want to make sure I have as an unbreakable? I will tell you this:
Eddie Murray.
Absolutely going to break blow. And Eddie Murray, when he grew his mustache. There's so many out there, but you know what? I'm just going to lock this one in right now. Hockey, Gretzky, 215 points in a season. Everyone's going crazy about Connor McDavid. Not even close. 215 points in a season.
Yeah.
Second was Lemieux with 141. So we're just going to go right there, lock that one in there. 215 points in the season, Wayne Gretzky.
That's probably
85,
very solid, yes.
86, yes.
Okay, you know what? For fun, I'm going to stay in hockey.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with, this is not necessarily the most known record, I would say, probably, but from 1980 to 1984, the New York Islanders won 19 consecutive playoff series.
Wow.
That is 4 years of Stanley Cups and getting to the Stanley Cup in the fifth year. They won, that's because, when the Canadians won all those cups and stuff, they were only playing 2 rounds of playoffs, so they didn't do that kind of thing. The Islanders had 5 sweeps in there, and they in those 19 playoff series, guess how many games they lost? Total, 24.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's barely 1 per series for that entire time.
Yep.
So that's my pick for an NHL record that'll never be broken.
Full disclosure, you are an Islanders fan.
Nevertheless. True.
Yeah.
But also-
but
yes.
still that pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So Matt, you can walk away from hockey for a while now. You can move on into the others.
Not going to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with hockey.
You stubborn bastard.
I'm just going to, I'm
Okay.
I'm going to meet you on your own turf.
Okay.
I'm going with Bill Mosienko.
Okay.
3 goals, 21 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't think I find that hard to believe that anyone will ever score 3 goals
In 20 seconds.
in 20 seconds.
Yeah, no.
Let's just shout out Word Burglar. If you check out the Word Burglar, he has a great Bill Mosienko song.
Great song, yeah.
Well worth listening to. Very up. And I've heard from several people over the years that coaches have said I use that Bill Mosienko Word Burglar song to pump up my youth hockey team before they hit the ice.
Oh, that's great. Now there's a video for it too, isn't there?
I did direct that video, but I
Yeah, I
get
think
no
you're in
money.
it. Okay.
It's only because it's my birthday you bring it up.
Yeah.
No.
No. It's a great video.
No, it all ties in. It all ties in.
But that's a great pick by Matt. He wanted to do it. He stubbornly did it,
He stuck with it.
and he got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then we're into round 2 here. That's Matt's
We're ending
pick.
round 2 here, yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to go up and break new ground between baseball and basketball. I really do feel this is never going to happen. Joe DiMaggio, 56-game hitting streak. I'm just going to say so many people have come close since 1941. 56-game hitting streak.
Yeah.
Almost it's just completely untouchable. No one's really gotten all that close. People get excited when it gets up even near in the 30s and the 40s.
Rose got 44, I think, is the closest.
But that's so long ago in itself. It's a marvel that could happen. And the reason I always remember 56 is because Heinz 57 had this contest. If he hit 57, and someone got some huge prize back in 1941, which was probably $30, probably $57. But and they didn't get it. And there was a whole story about that. The people were like going, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna." And it didn't happen. But Heinz saved a lot of money, friends, and they made a lot of advertising. Right. But anyway,
with pitcher specialization now and stuff like that, there's no way. Like you never face the same pitcher more than twice in a game. No, you're right. I don't think anybody.
And I think isn't it legend have it like in that 57th game there was at least one hit that was
two. He was robbed twice by the third baseman.
Yeah,
with rockets down the line, the guy made two unbelievable plays, and then. DiMaggio had hits in the next 20 games in a row after that.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Picked up again.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So it would have been 76 or whatever if it hadn't been for those two unbelievable plays.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to go to start round 3, I'm going to go to basketball.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick Wilt Chamberlain, but it's not going to be
interesting.
What you think.
Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain, 1961-62. There are a lot of Wilt Chamberlain records that I think probably we could all pick one. And however, this one to me is the most mind-blowing. In 1961-62, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 48.5 minutes per game. You heard me correctly.
Yeah.
The games were 48 minutes long.
Yeah.
He was never substituted out of a game, ever. He played all the overtime periods. The only time he missed 8 minutes of one game when he was ejected from the game. Well, 48.5 minutes, like that will never happen.
No, all the load management.
No, and he played every game. He was never substituted out of a game. I don't think anybody will ever touch that.
I mean, I think he had a lot of sex, but he also
says.
But he also must have just constantly had to have been eating because the energy to
between
maintain
the sex
and the size
and the minutes.
Of him, that's a lot of those the load management.
Yeah, as it were.
In both cases.
Please don't. Please don't.
Allegedly, sorry, Matt. The alleged
load management.
But
it's a gentleman's club.
Hey, this is Cabin Gentleman's Club.
It's not.
It's not a gentleman's club.
You're going to get a lot of the wrong clientele showing up at the wrong time of night.
It's a gentleman's
I'm so sorry. It's my sexual nature. But that's a great pick, Mike, and something that's a great point because everyone talks about Chamberlain's 100 points, but that's often forgotten.
Yeah,
that's a great one. That's a great one.
Oh, it's me.
It's you.
All right, I'm gonna go back to baseball and go for the Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah.
2,362 straight games.
Great pick.
I can't see that ever happening again.
No.
Just the way people want to, you want to preserve your health and little injuries and substitutions.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
Although
way.
I'm sure when Lou Gehrig retired, somebody said that too. You know what I mean? When Lou Gehrig retired with whatever he 21-31, people were like, "Oh my God, nobody will ever."
No, when we were kids, even they were like, "No one's going to beat Lou Gehrig."
So, no, it was. Yeah. But it seems impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Like the current leader is like 300 games or something. Like it's not going to happen.
It doesn't seem that way.
No,
at all.
At all.
So to my understanding, I could go back to football, but I should really hold on now. Baseball still could still be picked, right? Mike, you could still pick baseball, right?
Yeah. Baseball's all I have.
Sandy,
left.
you and I have picked baseball.
Yeah. So that's it there. So
Sandy, you have to pick either football or basketball.
Yeah. Well, I better jump into. I'm gonna go into basketball then.
All right.
All right. Let's. You know what? I was gonna say John Wooden's. John Wooden's 10 NCAA championships, 7 in a row at one point for UCLA. I'm going there. NCAA. I know we've done a lot of pro sports, but 10 NCAA championships. That's not going to happen with one coach. Yeah. One coach is not going to do that. And 7 in a row, forget about it. That's
forget it.
Happen. So let's
go especially with transfers and everything now and the way and kids don't stay 4 years anymore. Like, it'll never happen.
Not going to happen. So there we go.
I feel like I left baseball to the end because there are so many records in baseball that are like mind-bogglingly impossible. But I guess I guess just I'm going to go with this one just because I find it the most amazing. In 2004, Barry Bonds walked 232 times.
Yeah.
And 120 of them were intentional. The only other player in MLB history to be walked more than 45 times in a season is Willie McCovey, and he did it once.
Wow.
Bonds was intentionally walked 100. He broke baseball that year. Like
give that number again,
232 walks.
Yeah.
Like, think about his on-base percentage that year was like 600.
Yeah.
That is bananas. Like, if a guy draws 100 walks in a season now, we're like, that's a really selective hitter. Oh my gosh.
What's the intentional walks on that, though? Do you know?
120.
120.
So more than half of them were intentional.
And so more than half intentional. And then is that the one that we were talking about, like Rich Aurelia hit behind him? Was that what it was?
I don't know if it was that year. It might have been where Rich Aurelia hit 37 home runs.
There's a crazy number where, he was given.
It could be, yeah.
So he must. That's absolutely insane. But that was crazy. It took so much time for Bonds to put all that equipment on his elbows.
Yes. I have a feeling I'm going to make
just going to go walk.
I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction that this pick is going to cost me a win in the pool, because I think whoever's our judge is going to go, I hate Barry Bonds.
It does happen.
Everybody hates Barry Bonds, and I've lost on personality choices before.
Who you picked? It was A-Rod last year?
Yeah, I lost on an A-Rod pick.
Well, I will just say that there was one thing, I don't know if we were talking about on this show, and Mike, maybe you brought this up once, I thought before, just someone saying that the incredible amount of home runs that he hit that season in particular, because he would only swing once per game.
Yeah, he only hit 45 that year.
And he
probably swung the bat 50 times.
But the ratio of him swinging to the amount of home runs is insane, because he barely ever got a pitch to
hit. He had 617 plate appearances. He had 373 at bats.
Yeah.
So only 373 times did he have a chance to swing the bat even.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And he batted 362 and his on base was 609.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just not going to see that.
No, not too much. Okay, Matty.
Matt.
Well, all I have left to pick is the NBA.
Yep.
And I'm staring at two. And I don't know that we can leave Wilt there, but at the same time, okay. I'm going to go.
There's no cash prize, Matt.
There's no cash prize. Then I'm going to say, I don't think anyone's going to beat the Boston Celtics 8 straight NBA championships.
No, I don't think so. No way.
So what is that? From 58-59 to 65-66.
Yep.
And they also won like 11 out of 13 in that.
Yeah, Bill Russell had more rings than he had fingers.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick Boston Celtics 8 straight NBA championships.
Well, that's a good pick. And
with a nod to, of course, Wilt Chamberlain.
I'm going to close out this draft in football because I want to give a nod to friend of the show, Kevin Dennis. Buffalo Bills losing 4 straight Super Bowls. I don't think anyone's going to win, or I don't know if anyone's going to win 4 Super Bowls, and I don't think anyone's going to lose 4 straight Super Bowls. So I'm going to hand it to the Buffalo Bills.
Let's put it this way: no one's ever even made 4 straight Super Bowls.
That's exactly it.
Except the Bills.
So yeah, let's go ahead and just say it. Get it out there. It's going to be there. So good job. Let's see what our judge thinks. Now this judge has many options of their own to decide what the criteria is. We're hoping it'll fit our criteria, but hey, the judge can choose.
It's infuriating.
And it might just be
it's
personal choice, hating Barry Bonds.
He's going to hate Barry Bonds.
I think we're going to get in trouble for not picking Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
No, I have Wilt and Barry Bonds on my team. There's no way I'm winning the personality part of this.
Let's find out.
Well, we're super excited because now we're going to get judged, as always, on this day in sports. And we have an excellent guest to do exactly that. This episode's guest judge is a renowned sports journalist who most recently spent the past decade writing for the New York Post, primarily covering all things baseball. He has appeared on ESPN, CNN, the MLB Network, SNY, and of course, all of the local New York affiliates, including a regular spot on Fox 5 Sunday night Sports Extra show. He did that from 2007 to 2017. He's also so old now that he's, first of all, retired from the Post, but he is a Yankees historian for the WPIX Channel 11 show Yankee Nation. And if that isn't enough, he's also teaching sports journalism at the Endicott College in Beverly, Mass. Welcome to the show, Ken Davidoff. Hey, Ken.
Guys, it's really a pleasure to be here. And I have to say, it's ironic I'm serving as a judge, because when the judge in New York appointed this as part of my community service for the recent offense I committed, I said, all right, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Boy, he came down on you hard.
That's pretty harsh. Pretty harsh. Pretty harsh to have to hang out with us for this time. So that's just so great to have you here. Obviously, so you're now a Yankee historian. So when you're doing New York Post, you were primarily baseball, but did you also cover a lot of other sports as well, or how did you?
To be honest, Sandy, not really, but I certainly, just growing up as a huge sports fan, and then covering all the sports in my early years as a sports journalist before I kind of narrowed in on baseball, I feel qualified to serve as the judge today.
Currently, the Rangers are playing the Devils. Where do you land with those two teams?
Oh, I am I'm a New York native. Technically, I was born in Queens, New York, but my family moved to New Jersey when I was about 23 months old. So I consider myself Jersey strong. So I will be rooting for the Devils.
Okay, that's very clear. And I guess the question before we get started, everyone wants to know, and you may have been asked this before, do you wear cool water cologne? Have you ever worn cool water cologne?
I generally do not wear cologne of any kind. An occasional times I will, splash a little on. I'm so embarrassed because is that a specific brand or like a type?
The brand is Davidoff. Okay, that's what.
I'm so whoosh right over my head.
I was curious if no one has ever done that gag for you and sent you just a bottle of cool water. That's going to be your upcoming gift, a take-home gift for being on This Day in Sports.
I would love that. People certainly make jokes about Davidoff cologne and cigars, and when I was still working, my line was, if I was actually related to that family, I wouldn't be working.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, the cool water empire.
Yeah, all that cologne money.
Yeah. Ken, we gave you 3 different teams, unbreakable records in our opinions. There's a lot of choices out there. We also chose one from each of the major 4 sports. We have everything from the Jerry Rice receiving yards right down on this list I'm looking at. You have things like Bill Mosienko's 3 goals in 21 seconds. All of these are in there. We can go through these individually if you like, or you can just point out some of your highlights. What strikes you right away?
Well, what struck me when I first looked at this, Sandy, was just what all of these records are fantastic. It's not like any of these I pointed to. So there's 12 overall. Yeah, I didn't point to any of these, but that's a stupid choice. I have to, even now, I'm still kind of processing which ones I think are less, more vulnerable than others, I guess I should say. So I think you guys did a great job. I certainly can think of a few others that I would have included had I been part of this draft. But again, no failures here.
No failures. Okay. Nice. Which if you look at these, then if there's not a failure here, which ones are highlights for you? Which ones are the ones that you're like really stuck out?
Well, the ones that really stand out. So Ripken's Iron Man streak. I just don't see that. I don't see anyone getting half of that again. Just because of the way all sports are played right now, right? I mean, in load management, right? That's there was no load management back in Cal's time. Whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, obviously football is a little different. I just don't see anyone playing that many consecutive games. Well, Cal was 26-32, is that right?
Yeah.
So half of that would be 13-16. Like I don't see anyone coming close to 13-16.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'd say even like almost like any job nowadays. I don't know if anyone could do that in any career. No one's going into work that many days.
Right. No question. Another one that stands out is John Wooden, 10 consecutive NCAA championships. And I think you have to kind of pair that up with the Celtics 8 straight NBA championships. I can't see either of those happening. There's just too much parity. There's too much. The system is now built to prevent that, right? Just the way the draft and everything else is structured. So I think those both were excellent choices. And I'm just looking. So that was okay. So team 3 has 2 gold star picks, whoever team 3 is. And team 1 just coming out here. God, I would say the best pick of team 1 is probably the Islanders 19th consecutive playoff series wins. But I would have to rank that as more vulnerable than Cal or the Celtics or UCLA.
Yeah. So swinging down into team 2, we've gotten obviously the NCAA championships. We talked about Gretzky's 215-point season quite a few times on the show because in Canada there was a chocolate bar there was a year where it was we think we settled on Mr. Big. I think is what we landed on, guys. Right? Is that what we decided?
Or was it O. Henry? That was the controversy, right?
I think it was Mr. Big.
It was Mr. Big.
And you got the wrapper, and inside the wrapper it had a point total for Gretzky. So if you got the wrapper that had the closest to it, or without going over, whatever, the rules, you got this big prize. And every kid in Canada was getting these wrappers. My brother and I were talking about this. So we talked about this a couple times on the show, because I don't think anyone even had like 215. Like, I don't even think, I think that was the whole thing, was like, we ended up being the closest because no one thought he could possibly ever score that many points. But that was a huge phenomenon. And after we talked about this on the show, everyone's going Instagram or emailing us the images of Gretzky sitting in the locker holding up to Mr. Big, how many points am I going to get? But that's a number that just, there's no way. I think we wrote that Mario Lemieux was behind him, and he was almost 100 points behind him. Like, it wasn't even close.
I just called it up because I have to admit that, and I feel like I love the game of hockey, and I certainly followed it closely, especially when I was younger. But I didn't have a good context for that one, but I'm looking now. So yeah, Mario in 88, 89 got 199 points. So he came close.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad, Mario.
Yeah. And so and active players, it looks like Connor McDavid, his current season, right? I'm sorry, the regular season had ended. But 153. So that is pretty far away. But again, I don't want to talk out of my tuchus. But I just, because I don't know hockey as granularly as I know some of the other sports. But to me, if Connor McDavid got 153, then there's a possible he can he's so young, right? He's 25. So,
but
I don't know.
People went crazy that he got 153. I mean, people thought that was astronomical. And obviously he's also an Oiler, so that's a big deal there. Jumping back to, we talked about a lot about Barry Bonds, 232 walks. That's something I don't think we're going to see again. And I think and what was the on base percentage of that year, Mike? I think you had the numbers on that.
609.
Oh my goodness, that's insane.
He broke baseball. It's like a video game cheat code.
It totally is. And that's sorry again. Good.
No, I'll take a cynical route with that one, right? Because with the increased drug testing, I wonder. I think that was Barry's alleged usage. Let's use the word alleged. Was a big factor in that, and also, I think the fact that the Giants were not the best team, right? They didn't have great lineup depth. So
no, you'd rather pitch to Rich Aurelia than Barry Bonds. Yes, no doubt about it.
So you need another one of those kind of unicorn, perfect storm situations for someone to approach that.
Yeah,
and we appreciate using the term allegedly. That's a Matt Kippen favorite. He's always a little bit afraid of someone coming after us with anything that's just we were talking about we've had many different discussions about, I heard this guy did this off ice, and one of them was about was that at one point we talked about a lot of different borderline illicit things, and Matt immediately jumps in and says allegedly. So
do you think, let me jump in to say, do you think, I wonder if a lot of these single season records are in jeopardy, just with changes like the NFL adding a game to the season, things like that. I wonder if we'll see some, even, who knows, maybe the NHL goes to an increased game. I don't see them doing that, but and maybe then we could get more points. But I still think 215, that's great.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point about you go all the way back to Maris passing the Babe with more games, right? So it was have to factor that in when it comes to these single season records, and ultimately that can factor into career records too, right?
Sure.
So that's a good point, Matt.
I would guess that like a Bill Mosienko 3 goals in 21 seconds. I mean, it could happen, but and the game isn't changing in any way that
I mean, the next closest were 44 seconds, 60 seconds, 78 seconds. So, but at 21,
But yeah, I have to kind of like, that one struck me as, okay, that's freakish, obviously. But again, because we're setting such a high bar here with all of these are unlikely to be passed, right? So we have to, within that context, like, to me, that's like, all right, well, that's so freakish. And I don't see anything that has systemically changed about hockey that would make that less likely, right? I mean, please tell me if you disagree.
No,
but like, I wonder even if you had someone just drop the face off. No one's even playing on the other team except the goalie. If somebody could score 3 goals in 21 seconds with nobody else on the ice.
Yeah.
It's just the time of it all, from center ice to scoring with no one there.
Well, because really all you need to do is score 2 in 21 seconds, right? Because the first one doesn't take any time, right? Like if he scores a minute into the game,
that starts
you need 21 more seconds to score 2. So it's a little less bananas to think of that, but still, it's almost unfathomable.
But you have to score the first one, Mike.
You have to score the first one too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Like scoring a hat trick period is not easy.
Right. And that spin was like George Costanza saying how the word manure really isn't that bad when you break it down, like the ma and the nor.
Yeah, manure.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Well, Matt and I, Matt's from Winnipeg. I spent a lot of time in Winnipeg, and there was a Bill Mosyienko bowling alley. So I mean, really, that's what you get for 3 goals in 21 seconds. Yeah. So let's flash to. I mean, DiMaggio's 56 game hit streak. People have obviously come close enough that people got excited about it. But that kind of consistency again, and as we pointed out earlier in the show, there were two hits on the 57th game that could have gotten through, but he got robbed twice, so that could have continued. I'm trying to remember what we settled on was the second longest hitting streak. Was it Pete Rose?
Pete Rose 44.
Yeah. And I even remember when the Dykstra year, everyone was like, Dykstra's going to do everything. So it's 400.
And Molitor and Jimmy Rollins had pretty good ones too, but nobody's really. I think with pitcher specialization now, you're never going to see the same pitcher 4 and 5 times in a game like you would have in 50, you know what I mean? When DiMaggio did it in 41. Yeah. So I can't, it's just too hard now. Every bullpen has 4 guys coming out that throw 100, and it just doesn't seem as like that's one where the dynamics of the game have shifted and changed the sort of lay of the land for that kind of thing to happen. Right. Mm-hmm. To me, anyway.
Allow me to plant the seed the other way, Mike. So with these new rules just this year, right, with the bigger bases, with the pickoff limits, I wonder if that will create an avenue for faster players to start, choosing faster athletes to start choosing the game of baseball. And what if you get that speedy lefty hitter who, and is able to leg out more hits?
Yeah, like a new Ichiro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that could shift the winds the other way. Where
your mouth to God's ears. I hope that happens. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I wonder how many times DiMaggio was intentionally walked that season, because that attitude has definitely changed too.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna challenge this guy. It happened a lot more often back then.
The Old West.
We noticeably didn't take Ricky Henderson's stolen base record. Yeah. But I wonder, I still don't know if that could be in jeopardy. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, again, given the point I just made, I think that that certainly has shifted in favor of someone breaking it just this past season.
Yeah.
But if we were talking even a year ago, I probably said, nah, so again, we're splitting hairs here, right? Because all of these are unlikely to be broken. So if we're, but if we're talking about those more likely broken than others, then suddenly Ricky's stolen base record seems a little more vulnerable than it did a year ago.
Yeah.
And then someone has to pick up the giant bag over their head and scream that they're the greatest.
It's a bigger bag to do that with.
The one that struck me I didn't know about was the Wilt Chamberlain season average 48.5 minutes a game. So he's a half minute more than a game is. Yeah. So that's so obviously with overtimes, that is that one there too. Again, we talked about load management. No way. Like these guys, I can't even imagine in a game someone sticking out. Who sticks out even a full game consistently?
Yeah. And it's funny because, obviously the other Wilt record you guys could have chosen was 100 points in one game.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I think the first time I read your email, Sandy, I thought that's what it was because I just kind of speed read it. So that's no, certainly that one is not going to be touched.
One of us likes to throw wrenches a lot, and it's interesting because the person who chose that team is very good at saying stuff like a headline like Wilt Chamberlain, and everyone goes, oh yeah, the 100 point, no, not that one. New York Islanders, no, not that one. And he's great, which I appreciate, Mike. But I
was just gonna say I'm the only one not laughing. It's dead obvious who it is.
No, I appreciate it, but it's very true. And that was one really did catch me. I know the Islanders won this, another fact, but not the Chamberlain, which I thought was, I'm actually giving Mike a compliment at the end of the day.
Well, I just felt like my rationale was I feel like Kobe got 81, right? So 81 is not that far in a way from 100. No one even averages close to 40 minutes a game now. Like the highest guy in the league is like 32, 33 minutes a game they average now, or 35. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's so far away. Kobe's thing seemed a little closer somehow in my mind that day against the Raptors. But it is a bit of a contrarian pick. I agree.
I'm going to take a leap on the last one here. I'm assuming you're a Giants fan.
I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to the NFL because I attended the University of Michigan, not far from your country.
Yeah.
And so generally I just root for Michigan alums in the NFL. So I just retired being a Buccaneers fan when Mr. Brady retired. And now I think the top top Michigan guy in the NFL is probably Chris Hutchinson. So now I'm a Lions fan.
All right. I like that.
That is really freakish.
Yeah, thank you.
So if there's a team that has like 3 Michigan alums, there's one that has 1, you're cheering the one that's 3.
Well, it depends, if it's Brady against 3 scrubs, then I'm rooting for Brady.
So the quality matters. Quality over quantity matters.
Yes.
So because that's great because we have the Brady passing yards, and I was actually going to tie it back also to the Bills, and I thought maybe you're a Giants fan. They were obviously in the 4 straight losses in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Maybe a comment on that Brady passing yards, any chance, and the Bills. I don't know. That's first of all, you have to make 4 Super Bowls in a row, and then you got to lose 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah. Again, if we're talking within the context of this conversation, I could see a team, especially just following the NFL lately. It seems like it's almost this tier system, right? Where all right, now the Bengals are going to hang around for a while. It sure seems with Burrow and the Chiefs with Mahomes. So I feel like it's not crazy to envision another team making 4 Super Bowls in a row and losing them. Is it likely? No, but I don't think it doesn't blow my mind to think that could happen again.
Right. Let's all lock in who we think the team is could possibly go to 4 Super Bowls in 4 in a row. Matt, who do you think?
Well, okay. It's funny. Bring up Buffalo. They got Josh Allen. I'm going to go Buffalo again.
Bills could do it again. Mike, what do you think?
I think my Niners are karmically due after the way they treated Kaepernick. I think karmically they deserve to go to 4 Super Bowls and lose.
Ken, before we get to you, I'm going to go with Dallas. I think Dallas 4 times in a row and lose. And Ken, who do you got?
I'll go with Cincinnati. I like Joe Burrow. I think, but it's a matter of can they ever put it together to actually win the big one.
This is locked in. If anyone succeeds in doing this, everyone else has to pay that person $10.
Yeah.
Canadian.
In Bitcoin.
By the time it happens, it'll probably be the only currency. So
that's right.
Perfect. Ken, so now we have to come down to our judgment. You got the 3 teams. You've got the 4 per team. Which one are you declaring the winner of this draft?
I have to declare team 3 the winner. Just because, as we've talked about, Ripken and the Celtics are at that platinum level to me. The Bill is it Mosinko?
Mozienko.
I'm sorry, Mozienko. Yeah, we talked about. Yeah, it could happen, but extremely unlikely. And Brady, to me, is the most vulnerable of those 4, and I don't think it's that vulnerable. So I do have to appoint Team 3 as the winner.
That is Matt's team. Matt is a winner there.
Congrats, Matt.
Thank you.
It's a big moment for Matt. Because I'll tell you what, usually he really kisses the judges' asses to get it over the line. I didn't feel he did that today. I thought Matt played a fair game.
There was the Brady, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You didn't know that was going to happen.
Right.
It was unintentional, but it was a nice move by Matt.
I mean, I am pretty Googleable, Matt. Did you look up
who's to say I didn't do a deep dive?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You're definitely capable of that. I have to say.
I thought I had kissed ass nicely with the Islanders pick, figuring you were a New York guy, but then I find out you're a Jersey guy. I should have dug for a Devils.
You should have Googled, Mike.
I should have dug deeper. It's my fault.
Yeah.
I have no one to blame but myself.
Yeah. Well, Ken, fantastic work. Thank you so much. I know you have a 2-a-day workout schedule to get back to, so we want to make sure you get back to the gym as soon as possible. Thanks so much, and please come back to the show. I think we should definitely dive into something like New York baseball and get some opinions from you on that as well.
Awesome. It's always a pleasure seeing you, Sandy, Mike, and Matt. Nice meeting you guys, and just good luck with this. This is awesome.
Thanks much. Appreciate it, Ken.
Take care.
Cheers.
All right. Well, there we have it. We didn't see some of that coming, but for the most part, not too bad, guys. We've all survived unscathed.
Not too bad.
Not too bad, guys.
Not too bad.
It's my birthday, so that's important to note. Again, that you were generous enough to allow me to tell a personal story.
And to be clear, for Sandy's birthday, we are not at a gentleman's club.
Yes, thank you.
For our wives, yet.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
For those of you listening, we're not recording live
but
at any kind of place like that.
It was a joy to work this podcast with you gentlemen today. Frank, thank you so much. Matt, Mike, thank you for celebrating my birthday with this podcast.
No problem, Steve.
This has been This Day in Sports, the Sandy, Job, and Bevan's birthday edition. Join us next time when it's not a birthday.